How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Nick Sepp from theScore Sports here, and I have the pleasure of being with Deman today after the grand final of the League of Legends here at IEM Katowice. Now let's just quickly jump into that tournament because we saw some results that we were expecting, some results that maybe we weren't expecting. Fnatic obviously coming up very strong this event. SK Telecom kind of breaking out of a little bit of the slump, the mini slump that they've been in Korea. Can you give me your read on how this event sort of played out and whether it matched your expectations heading into this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the winner. That was everybody knew that was coming, kind of thing. Possibly may have seen RNG challenge them. Fnatic ended up being the obviously finalists. Very surprising. Not been doing very well this season. You could say the same with TSM as well. Very surprising. They got through to semis. Everybody expected CLG after they just beat Immortals. They're doing so much better in the league. Sadly for them, it was a very weird time for CLG. Like, they kind of had the easiest chance to get through and kind of blew it. But no, yeah, very surprising results. The Chinese obviously going out somewhat expected, but I think we expected more from RNG, especially after their group performance. We're like, okay, wow, okay, this is a real challenger for SKT. But Fnatic, man, what can I say? You know, the magic of a tournament, they seem to deliver, and they made it to the finals. That for them itself is an achievement, I think. And you could tell by the last game, they were having fun with it. They were laughing about it. They're like, you know, they knew they weren't going to beat SKT. It was probably in the mindset already, but I think they looked happy with the finals.
Maybe Fnatic stole what Gambit used to have here at Intel Extreme Masters. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the pick ban defense. It seems a lot of games are defined by the pick ban, especially in the current meta. Sort of, what are your thoughts on the current state of League of Legends as a game overall, and whether or not the pick ban should, is something that should be so key potentially in a certain match? Yeah,
well, so we actually saw quite a few different styles this tournament. Obviously, we saw the Chinese that had no clue how to do rotations. They really didn't seem to have a clue. Don't know really why, because they used to be very good at it, and somehow that's degraded despite all the crazy money that's going into China. You know, spending millions on all the Koreans that are going over. You'd assume something would rub off on them. Europe, I don't know, they kind of surprised everyone, but if you look at the pick bans, the way it worked for them, obviously Jin coming out, suddenly this is a test, I guess, for Fnatic. I think everybody's looking at it. The fact that it was pretty much respect banned, pretty much the only respect ban that SKT put down there, clearly was a big difference, and it obviously was the defining factor on them getting to the finals in the first place. SKT, you know, if you look at their pick bans, they kind of just kept it generic. So if you look across the games and how it affected it, sure, we get Nautilus in there every 5 seconds. We get all the kind of same tanky meta. It's a little stale to cast. I mean, you only need to look at the Fnatic versus Chaogu first game. 25 minutes of nothingness. That's not entertaining. That's not fun to watch. And obviously, I know quite a lot of the Riot guys back in the design department, they're going to be looking at it and thinking, yeah, things need to change. They know something needs to change, but the problem is, can they change it before the end of the season? That's usually when things like that change. But anyway, that's why they're paid the big bucks to fix these problems.
You said you're familiar with some of the Riot guys, but also some of the casters and your fellow casters. So what was it like to be reunited with sort of, and be able to hang around and cast with not only the European casters, such as Quickshot and Crepo, but also Monty and Doa, and see them around the venue as well? Yeah,
it was great. I mean, obviously I was with Monty and Doa in San Jose. That in itself was a fun time. I cast with Monty, years and years ago, because obviously I did MLG back when it was the grand old season 2 days of MLG, IPL, IEM, when we were bouncing around the world, doing international tournaments just as we are now here at the Intel Extreme Masters. It was great to cast with them, obviously. I think the first time I cast with Doa was in San Jose, IEM this year. It's tricky to slot in the partnership of the Rain Bros. They are clearly obviously been casting together for years, but you just got to have your way with them. And obviously it's, Crepo and Deficio. It's great to slot back into. I've known Crepo since, season 1, I guess. Sometime in season 1. What was it? Kings of Europe was the very first one I did many, many years ago, alongside when we finally discovered Jat. There's a little known caster out there, the first tournament he ever did. So I've known those guys for a long time. So it's always good to have banter. Trevor, I used to live with Trevor for 6 months. So all those guys, it's good to see them all again.
As someone who's casted both League of Legends professionally and CSGO professionally as well, which was another event that we saw here, what's sort of your preparation coming into an event like this, considering you have to maintain quite a high knowledge of both games?
For this one, very damn hard. I literally came off the back of 3 weeks away from home doing the CS Pro League, the ESL Pro League that we have going. So I've been doing Counter-Strike for the last 3 weeks. I was in the UK, I was in Barcelona, I was back in the UK, got home, and I had 3 days to prepare for this tournament. So I was obviously fairly underprepared in comparison, whereas I managed to watch a lot of the LCS before it, and obviously I watched the entire weekend before coming here, and I watched a bunch of the Chinese games, especially the Chaogu RNG game, which as immediately we were watching it and like, what's going on here? Then obviously I contacted Deficio and Crepo. They were like sharing documents. They got a bunch of prep. Caramosa had already got involved with Deficio, so she'd helped out with all the Chinese information. Obviously we had Monty to lean on. So in the first day we get here, generally it's like everybody gets together. We figure out the caster schedule, and B, everybody talks through the teams, and it's just like getting storylines together, because when we figure out the rotation of the casters, it's like, okay, what should we try and bring up during this match? And that's kind of like the prep and how it works.
Very cool. Now, this was an event with 2 huge tournaments for your 2 specialties. Did you have a chance to sort of catch some of the CSGO action out of the corner of your eye, maybe when you had a few moments? And did you notice anything in terms of the results at that event?
Yeah, I actually managed to sneak into the SPO deck during Fnatic Virtus Pro, so that was an incredible game. I'm lucky enough to be sharing the hotel, actually, with all of the players, so the CS and LoL players, so I may have been spending a fair amount of time in the bar with a couple of the players. The NIP boys obviously had a good chat with them. Some crazy moments that they had in group stage, the one-hit point defuse that went in there, the crazy clutch CZ moments they had against Fnatic, which surprise always happen in Counter-Strike. Luminosity, incredible stuff, but the Fnatic guys, their celebration last night, they got home to the hotel and they all ordered a burger. I was like, you going to the party tonight? Nah. It's like, well, okay, that's how the champions do it. Just keep on going. But I managed to watch quite a lot of the CS as well as LoL. I'm casting Counter-Strike on Tuesday as soon as I get back. So I fly back tomorrow. Next day, straight back into it.
That's the ESL Pro League, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, I know that you took to Twitter and it gained a lot of attention on the League subreddit. You saying that this was potentially going to be your last League of Legends event. I don't want to dig too deep into it if you're not willing, but what sort of motivated that sort of sentiment or that statement?
Well, basically, if you're not working at Riot, you don't really cast League of Legends. They've kind of basically got the English license across the world, so there is nowhere to cast it. The Inter Extreme Masters is the only place, basically. That is the only tournament right now. As we talked about with the preparation, to do that every time you come around to a tournament, I was rusty as hell at this event. I mean, when you're doing it week in, week out, it's your job. You improve so much, and you can tell. You just, obviously casting with Deficio and Crepo, how much they've grown over the years, even since I left. So to come in and insert yourself, it's kind of like a little unfair. Unfair on them, unfair on me, because I'm just like thrust in there. It's like, hey, here's that guy. Whereas most people will be like, where's Doa? Why is he not casting with Monty in the final? So, various things like that. Obviously, I don't work for Riot anymore, so it's just not a career path to follow, really. You look at the Counter-Strike, another game that I love casting, so trying to look towards that. You got Overwatch coming up. Who knows what could happen? Just trying to find the next game that I really love.
Yeah, I was actually going to jump to that, since I think that I can speak for the League. I speak for some members of the League of Legends community. We say we do, greatly appreciate what you did for the league scene and miss you very much. But onwards and upwards, as you did say, what do you think is next for Deman in the coming 2016?
2016 is Counter-Strike. We'll see where it goes. I'm never going to be anywhere near the level that I was in League in Counter-Strike, because I've got a lot of groundwork to do. The community needs to, obviously, I need to win them over. The only way you win that over is by grafting, by hard work, by putting in the hours. I've done CS for a year now. Let's look at who's there. Anderson Sumner have done it from year dot, the start of CSGO. All the other guys are in there. Henry G, he's a source player. Moses, good God, he was playing in 2003. These guys have all got so much more experience over me. So I love casting alongside them and just basically absorbing that experience. For now, I've been hosting the desk in Pro League. I haven't been casting it. I cast in Barcelona. Looking to obviously get back into the casting. But until I have a solid play-by-play, a colour guy, to go alongside me, because I'm just a play-by-play, there's no point me casting with another play-by-play. It doesn't work like that in Counter-Strike. And also, I kind of need to up my knowledge a bit in CS. It's at a decent level, but it needs to be at a higher level. And I know that. That's what I've got to work on in 2016.
Now, you mentioned some of the other casters in the scene. What sort of lessons have you taken over the past year, and are you still looking to, that you admire in their work that you're looking to bring into your own?
Yeah, I mean, it's very much for me Season 2 territory with League of Legends. That's what I love about Counter-Strike. And for most of the guys, obviously they're doing it week in, week out. They're all across the world. So prep-wise, they just don't need to do it. It's in their heads. It's your job. And that's what I'd like to get to, that level. But obviously, until I'm doing tournaments every week, I can't do that. Now, as for casting, I need to find my own style in it. I've kind of got it. And it really depends on the color commentator I'm with. I don't want to lean into the analyst side of it. I want to let the likes of Henry G do that. I mean, why would I talk about that side of things? If I cast with, say, Anders and Semler, obviously I need to adjust. And that's where I need to get my knowledge. That's where I need to up my game, as it were.
Okay, well, it sounds like you have a lot on your plate and a lot on your mind in terms of the
busy.
Yeah, Counter-Strike and League of Legends. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today, Deman, and best of luck in the coming months.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.